So if you have a Zoom recorder, I would suggest watching the Tascam video as well because there are a lot of similarities. So one of the main differences though is how you turn this thing on. So on the side, instead of on the front, on the side is a little power button. It's actually a power switch. It's right here, this thing that says hold, and then there's this little, this is like the international symbol for power, basically. It's a circle through a little with a little dash through it. What you want to do is you want to push it down and hold it for about 3 seconds and then let go. That is also how you turn it off. This for 3 seconds and let go. When you do turn it on that way, you'll see the menu or sort of the main screen come up there. But before we do that, let me show you what else is here. This is where you put in your headphones, right there. This is the headphone volume. Headphone volume. This right here is input microphone volume, or in this Zoom, it's called record level. This is what will actually change the input level of the microphone signal. This volume just changes the volume in your headphones. Does not change the signal that is being recorded, just what you're able to hear. So when you are adjusting your signal up and down, this is what you want. So, as you can see, there are 2 mics on the top here. This is what makes it look like a taser. But, and these 2 mics, this is a stereo, we'll call a stereo pair, left and right. This together records 2 distinct channels, left and right, of audio as stereo audio. Sounds great for getting what we call natural sounds. Maybe you're walking around outside, just want to get the sounds of a forest or a cityscape. These are great. But in this class, we're learning how to use microphones manually. So what you want to do is you want to plug into the XLR ports on the bottom with your XLR cable. Boom, just like that. And as I said before, you always want to plug into the left, not the right. If you do have a second microphone that you're using at the same time, go ahead and then use the left and the right. But if you're only using one, always use the left. Otherwise, it will not record. So now that we've got the XLR plugged into the left port, let me just refocus there. Let us tell this Zoom that we're going to be recording from this port. So this Zoom is a little easier with the Tascam in this regard. You'll see here it says input and then microphone. Input microphone are these guys right here. Input 1 and 2, that's right here, input 1 and 2. So you just want to press on the 1, because that's the one you're using, and then it lights up. Now the Zoom knows you're recording from here. Now you want to make sure your card is clear. So on the side here, you'll see it says menu. You click on that, and then there's a little dial right here. This dial rotates through the menu, as you can see. And then when you find the thing that you want, in this case SD card, then with that little dial you push in, and that's how you go to the next level of the menu. So we want to format the card, which is another way of saying erase. Are you sure? Yes. Usually takes a few seconds, sometimes longer if it's a big card or if there's a lot of material on there. So much like the Tascam, in order to get out of the menu, you have to hit the menu button again. Although in this case, it just automatically went back to the main screen, which is great. So at the bottom, you'll see that you'll see a time. That time, which in this case says 5:54:11, lets me know there are 5 hours, 54 minutes, and 11 seconds of space for recording on here. That's pretty good. So let's go back into the menu. And most everything you need here is in the input menu. So let's go to input. There we go. So what we want to do is go down to Phantom. If you're using a Phantom powered mic, you need to turn it on. So you go in there and you'll see there's three choices: phantom off, 48 volts, or 24 volts. Every microphone that we have and most microphones you will use are 48 volts. So that's the one that you want, 48 volts. Then what you want to do is you want to make sure that your 1-2 link is on, and that your mono mix is on, and your level auto is off. What this means is channel 1 and channel 2, or input 1 and input 2, we want to link them, and we want them to be mono mixed. What that means is if you just have one microphone plugged into the left channel, then you're only going to hear it in the left channel of your ear, and that gets annoying over time. So when you link them and make them a mono mix, then whatever's plugged into the left channel, you'll also hear in the right channel. So you can keep them off if you want, but then you're only going to hear them in the left ear. You want 1 and 2 to be linked, and you want them to be linked as a mono mix. That will make sure that you hear one signal in both ears. Level auto means this device will record your input source automatically. However, you never want to rely on the unit's automatic settings to record audio, because the unit doesn't know what's loud and what's quiet. So if something is quiet, it will automatically boost the levels. And then if something automatically gets loud, it's going to clip and before it's able to compensate and bring down the levels. In other words, automatic levels is usually about a half second behind real time. So if you're doing a recording where there's lots of quiet and lots of loud, or any sort of recording really, the automatic levels really can't be trusted. It's just there as an option for beginners, but we're not beginners. That's why we're taking this audio class, so we can get to the next level. So we always want to keep level auto off so we can monitor the levels ourselves. So make sure it's off, and then you hit menu, and then you hit it again. Boom, and now we're back on the main screen. So the other button you'll want is Wave MP3. If you click on this, just like the Tascam, you'll see you've got different choices. You've got wave and different sample rates and bit depths, and then you've got MP3s and different bit rates. So as we discussed before, the industry standard sample rate and bit depth for audio for production is 48 kilohertz, 24-bit. So we always want to choose that. Music studios tend to go higher than that. They tend to go 96 kilohertz, 24-bit, even 32-bit. But for the human voice and production audio, 48 kilohertz, 24-bit is way more than what you need. But it is the standard, so that's what we choose. Now, this does not have the Bwf format feature the way the Tascam does. That's because the Tascam is a little bit newer than the Zoom. But these will both deliver WAV files. It's just that the Bwf format also allows you to have WAV files with metadata, which we'll learn about a little bit later. Right now, all you have to be concerned about is 48 kilohertz, 24-bit WAV. So now that you've told the Zoom what your input is, what the file format is, and that this is going to be a phantom-powered microphone, we're ready to record. So just like the Tascam, you want to hit record button once, and you'll see that it is blinking. Right now, we are mono-linked. See that? Channel, even though we only have one channel going in, it's being mono-mixed to both channels, so we're hearing it out of the left and the right ear in our headphones. So right now, it looks like it's a little loud. Remember, we don't want to clip. This right here, where is it? Here it says input 1-2 level. If it's too loud, it will clip. And if it clips, then it won't be usable. These numbers on the bottom, -48, -24, -12, -6, 0, 0, it's like a countdown. 0, once you hit 0, you have hit what's called the peak, and you will now be clipping or peaking, which means that the audio no longer has any information. It's digital. It's just a bunch of ones and zeros. And then once you hit 0, those ones and zeros just turn into garbage, which literally sounds like distortion. So we have to find what's called the sweet spot. What is the sweet spot? Well, you get the sweet spot by asking your talent to do a microphone check. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you hit the record level to turn it up and down. So look at this, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Look how far down it's gone. That's a little too quiet. Let's go up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. The sweet spot for adjusting your levels is between -20 and -12 for normal human speaking voice. And that's about what we've got right here. It could be a little louder. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, that's a little loud now. See, it's very tricky. 1, 2, 3, that's pretty good. And then a whispering voice should peak between -30 and -20. And then a shouting voice should be between -12 and -6, as it's happening here. So right now, our levels are pretty good. So this is a whispering voice, this is a normal voice, this is a shouting voice. That is pretty much what we're looking for. That assures that it's not too quiet and it's not too loud. And then once we've got the microphone check dialed in, then we hit the record button again, and you'll see that that red light is no longer blinking. It's now solid, and the clock at the top is now moving. Let's do that one more time. You hit the record button once, it's blinking. It's in record pause mode. It's in mic check mode, and the clock is not moving. So this is the time where we get our microphone check dialed in. Between between -20 and -12 for a normal speaking voice, -12 and -6 for a loud voice, and -30 and -20 for a low or whispering voice. But -20 to -12 is the average we're looking for. So as long as the peak levels are between -20 and -12 for an average speaking voice, you should be good to go. Then, once it's dialed in, you hit the record button again. That red button now goes solid red, and the clock starts. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Then when you're done, you hit the stop button. And for those that remember CD players or iPods, these are buttons very much like what were on those machines. This is your stop button. This is your play button. So if you want to hear what you just did, you hit play. That red button now goes solid red, and the clock starts. And if you want to go, and then you've got your track advance and track rewind button. So if you've recorded multiple tracks and want to skip ahead to the next one, then when you're done, you just hit the track advance button, and it'll go to the next track. Or if you want to go back to the beginning, you hit the track reverse button, and it goes back to the beginning, or it goes to the previous track. And then you hit stop to stop it. And that, in a nutshell, is how the Zoom H4N works.